Hey everyone, welcome back to another Taiko 101 here at Tic Tac Taiko. The first Taiko 101 hit hard right out of the gate, asking you to define what is Taiko, meant to challenge your assumptions about the art. But this week I'm doing it a little different. Nothing challenging, pretty easy stuff. I'm just going to cover the entire history of Taiko in about 10 minutes. Now, with only 10 minutes, there's no way I'm getting into depth on any aspect of Taiko history. I'm going to split things up into 3 different eras and talk surface level about each one. This video is targeted more towards the newer player or for those who don't play Taiko at all. But for those who have been around for a while, I guarantee you there are clips in this video you haven't seen and probably information that you may not have heard or even forgotten about. And at the end, I'm going to pose 2 questions that I would like to hear from everybody, regardless of your experience in Taiko. So, let's get into it. Taiko has been around for maybe 2,000 years, but not in the form that most people recognize it as today. Some non-artistic uses included farmers using it to drive away pests from the crops, using it to alert the populace or make a proclamation, using it in religious ceremonies, or even having it determine the borders of a village for as long as you could still hear the sound. You might even find Taiko on the battlefield as a way to rally and perhaps even signal to the troops. Moving forward hundreds of years later, Taiko was used in gagaku, or Japanese court music. It was also used in theater such as no and kabuki to provide sound effects such as thunder or footsteps, as well as part of the musical score. You'd also find Taiko in many festivals or matsuri, perhaps a stationary Taiko in the middle of a crowd with a simple repetitive beat to accompany the dancing and singing, or traveling through the town. Even today, festival Taiko can be seen in many shapes, sizes, and played in many ways. As Taiko developed into more artistic and musical forms, some different regions in Japan developed distinctive styles of Taiko. 3 such styles have gained so much popularity that they continue to influence and inspire Taiko around the world today. The first is Chichibu Yatai Bayashi. In Chichibu, Japan, there is a festival with drummers seated inside a parade float, known as a yatai. The drummers are seated, sometimes slightly leaning back to play, and when done with their section, another drummer switches out to start the pattern again. The version that most people are familiar with today is an arranged version of Chichibu Yatai Bayashi, just called Yatai Bayashi. This song is a stylized version created in the early 70s by the Taiko group Ondekoza. This arrangement is very popular in the Taiko world, possibly even being the most common of all Taiko pieces globally. It is similar to what came from Chichibu, but highly stylized. The next piece is Miyake-daiko, characterized by a very low, rooted stance. This style of drumming started on Miyake Island in Japan in the early 1800s. The group Miyake-jima Kamitsuki Mikoshi Daiko, or just Miyake-daiko, is credited with arranging the style of Miyake into the song structure that inspired the group Kodo to create their version of the song, adding soloists to the arrangement that are not in the original style. Finally, I want to mention Hachijo Daiko, a style that has begun to really surge in popularity. This style of drumming comes from Hachijo Island in Japan and is characterized by a single drum on a stand that holds it up horizontally between two players. The earliest records of this style are from the mid-1800s. Again, ondakoza comes into play, arranging a version of Hachijo Daiko for the stage. But I believe this style of drumming really took off because of Chiyako Kojima of Kodo, who made her own arrangement called Hana Hachijo almost 25 years ago. She currently teaches workshops in person and virtually, and this has led to a boom in interest everywhere taiko is found. It's also worth noting that there are other popular styles of taiko, including those from Okinawa, that are popular around the world, but I am focusing on these three styles that are most common to find outside of Japan today. And then we get to what many consider to be modern taiko. In the early 1950s, a man named Daihachi Oguchi had the idea to assign different taiko based on their pitch as if it was a Western drum set. The snare drums would be shimedaiko, the bass drums would be chudaiko, etc. This was the birth of what came to be known as Kumidaiko, or ensemble drumming. Oguchi sensei also founded Osuwa Daiko, which still has significant impact on the taiko world. In the late 1950s, Seido Kobayashi formed Oero Sukeroku Daiko, which is known to most as the group that developed naname, or slanted style of drum playing. This style helped grow taiko into the popular art form it is today, and the group is credited as the first taiko group to tour professionally. In the late 1960s, Den Tagayasu founded Ondakoza, which brought together a group of dedicated taiko players to live and learn taiko in an almost monastic lifestyle. Ondakoza was the first taiko group to tour in the United States and can arguably be said to have planted the seeds for taiko groups to form afterwards. Ondakoza split and the group Kodo emerged in the early 1980s. Kodo is probably the most well-known taiko group in the world now and continues to tour around the globe. Also in the late 1960s, Seiichi Tanaka formed the first Taiko group in the United States, San Francisco Taiko Dojo. This was also the first Taiko group to form outside of Japan. Soon after, other countries such as Canada and South America soon had groups of their own, not to mention the boom of Taiko in North America that was to come. And because of Tanaka-sensei, North America has been a huge force for Taiko around the world. All right, I promised you a couple of questions, so here we go. A phrase I hear used a lot is traditional Taiko. What does that mean to you? Is that only something from the first era? Can an art form like Kumidaiko that's been around for 70 years be traditional? Are there traditions in it? And if so, how does that compare to traditions from the second or first era? And my second question is, do you agree? Have there been 3 eras? Are there more eras up to this point? If you think we are in the 3rd era, what do you think will make it change to the 4th era? Or are we in the 4th era already? If you look at some of the Taiko that's out there now, you can start thinking maybe that's the next generation of Taiko. Maybe we've started to do that already. And it's hard to know unless you've seen it. So here are a couple of clips to show you what I'm talking about. These questions are just food for thought. There is no right or wrong answer. So please comment below, let me and the Taiko community and other people in the future hear your thoughts. If you like this video, let me know with a thumbs up. If there's other topics of a Taiko 101 nature you would like to see me tackle, let me know. And until next time, keep on practicing and be well.